Hello, I'm Don Vieth of the CoSIDA Academic All-America Committee. I'm here with Amanda Kautzer, the Women's At-Large winner for Academic All-America of the Year for NCAA Division II. She's a Nordic skier and she ran cross country at Michigan Tech. Amanda, thanks again for joining with me today, and again, congratulations.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
This award is a major showcase for academics and athletics, and so what does being the Academic All-America of the Year, not just for your sport, but for, a group of others mean to you?
It's a pretty special award. I know there's so many student athletes out there that I get to see on a daily basis on campus that ones I interact with on my team and in other sports as well that are part of this at-large, and I see how hard everyone around me works. So to be recognized for my own hard work over the last 4 years is really special to me, and I'm very happy about this. And it definitely wasn't something I was expecting. Like I said, there's so many people who I feel like work just as hard as I do. So it's a true honor for me.
This last winter, you were the elite 90 for skiing and graduated a 4.0 in biomedical engineering. Along with that, you qualified 3 times at the NCAA championships. How do you really balance that all out between athletics and academics? You're also ran cross country too, so you have a lot going on, and you graduated with a 4.0. Just talk about just accomplishing all that.
Well, I'll say when I started out in college, my strategy was not the best. I basically slept less to do everything else. And I figured out about 2.5 years ago that I was actually a lot more productive when I did sleep, and prioritizing my sleep has really been, especially towards the tail end of my career, the biggest improvement I've had is from turning off my laptop at 10 o'clock and saying, nope, I'm not done with everything, but I just got to go to bed. And that way, when I wake up the next morning, I can actually be productive and actually do something with my day. And whether that's athletics or with academics, it just helps me overall be a lot more productive and get everything accomplished honestly in less time, and just feeling better helps with just academics and athletics, like I said.
Would there be anyone you want to help credit and say that they kind of helped you out along through this pathway?
So many people. All my teammates have been super supportive, whether it's just being there at practice, and if I had a rough day, talk me through it or give me space and knowing what I need. And my coaches were pretty flexible with me and helping me be able to go take exams, or trusting me to say, hey, I got to miss practice today because I need to study for this, or I'm not feeling well, and really having that trust in me as an athlete. And of course, other supports being family and friends outside of skiing for sure have helped me a ton along the way.
You have a kind of a unique pathway with being a dual sport athlete. Let's talk about your I guess in your case, your teams and your season and your career.
That's a big question. So I guess starting with the teams, I've been really lucky to be able to be part of both the cross-country running and the Nordic ski team at Michigan Tech. I think it's a pretty unique situation in that we have a lot of crossover between the two programs, which allowed me to go to NCAAs for both cross-country running and Nordic skiing, which I don't personally consider myself a incredible runner because most of my focus has been in skiing, but to be able to be part of a team for cross country that's so motivated and so energized about the sport and about running was really cool to be a part of. With running, there's more of a team aspect, and of course the Nordic ski team is a team, but it's a lot more individual focused because you qualify as an individual. So to have both of those and be able to be a part of both those teams, where on the cross country side it was we all have to have our best day to make this work and to do well at NCAAs or at regionals. Versus on a ski team, it's individual, but you're also able to work with your teammates to help make each other better in the day-to-day practices. So that was a really cool thing to be a part of. As far as results, I wish I could say every single race was awesome and it was great and sunny days every single time, but there was a lot of ups and downs over 4 years. Like, you have to expect that. And like I mentioned earlier with sleep, that's something that I was messing up, and I wasn't listening to my coaches saying you need to sleep, and I just thought, I can do it all. I can be a part of every club and do everything, and you can't. You got to pick and choose what you want to be successful at. So that's probably the biggest learning I had, and where I saw the most results come from was from prioritizing the things that I really cared about, being academics and athletics, and taking sleep as like a big stepping stone to that, and really saw results coming as I prioritized and picked the things that I really cared about the most.
Now, this last winter, you were at the NCAA championships. You got through one day and then of competing, and then the next day the championships were canceled. Just talk about that process of, competing that last day, and then, obviously the next day everything was all done.
Yeah, that was really hard. So for those of you who don't know, we in NCAA skiing, we do a 5K skate and a 15K classic race. For the women, it's 10 and 20K for the men. But this season, my best races have all been that 15K classic, which was the Saturday race. So we raced Thursday in the 5K skate, and I was really looking forward to that 15K classic. The two races before that, I had been in a really good position to do well in the race, and then my binding broke, and then the next race my ski broke. So I had two races leading up to that in that discipline, that 15K distance, that were really, really unfortunate events, to be honest. So I was really looking forward to that 15K. So when that was canceled, personally, that was really hard to hear. But as an event on the whole, I was so excited about how NCAA's went, because my teammate Sarah Goebel had an All-American, which is the only All-American that we've had during my time at the program, which was really cool to see, and just to be able to be part of that, and how happy she was. And me and the other teammate that were there on the women's side did not have good races that day, but to be able to share in her celebration, her success, was really, really awesome to have that accomplishment for her and for the whole team, despite not being able to do that 15K race. But overall, just to be able to share in that success was really cool.
Now, you also are the NCAA postgraduate. You award NCAA postgraduate scholarship. That's a big accomplishment to have, to basically go to graduate school. So, what are your plans moving forward now?
Yeah, so I finished up my undergrad in May in biomedical engineering, and that is an incredibly broad field with basically limitless options. But I was kind of lacking a depth in one subject, so I'm going on to do my master's in mechanical engineering through Michigan Tech, which I'm really excited about. It's a one-year program, an accelerated master's degree. So get me out into the working world in just a year, and I think it's a pretty well-regarded program that I'm really excited to be able to do.
So what are you, I guess, looking forward 5 years down the road, where do you see yourself?
Well, that's a big question of a lot of variables, and even more so now with how the spring's been turning out. 5 years down the road, I'd like to say I'd still be skiing professionally. That's something I'm looking in the next couple of years, and what team I'm going to be on as an elite team, and looking at more higher goals outside of NCAA skiing as far as national and international competitions. Professionally, by that point, of course, I'll have my master's in mechanical engineering, and I've had internships with a variety of companies in the biomedical engineering industry. So working with a company like that to ideally make a difference on products that help people's lives and save lives is kind of where my passions and priorities are with my career aspirations.
That's awesome. Well, thank you again for joining with me today, and congratulations on being this year's Women's at-Large Academic All-American for Division II.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me as well.